It is difficult to access. It's difficult to evaluate, and in many cases, it's also cost prohibitive unless you're very well financed. Like individuals have a difficult time accessing the space if they're not a part of a team that has private equity or some other significant capital source behind them. Probably the easiest way to think about it is wells can cost anywhere between, say, $7 and $13 million. And so if you're out there drilling wells or even participating in them, the cost of participation is quite high. And so access is really driven in part by the way the industry's structured, but also it can be capital prohibitive in many ways. So it's difficult to find effective ways for the average person to participate in upstream oil and gas. And so it's closed for some practical reasons, but also for some financial ones. The other thing I would say is that oil and gas really starts as a business that is fractionalized. And it's one of the reasons why we believe that it's the perfect candidate for tokenization. And what I would say in short is that when you look at any individual well or development, typically what happens now is pad drilling. And so you're not drilling one well at a time. You're drilling from, say, 4 to 6 wells at a time, depending on the spacing and the size of the pad and how big the unit is. And so if you're drilling 4 of those wells that cost in that range, then just think about the capital that's required per my earlier point, but also think about the fact that there are multiple interest holders that participate in that process. You have an operator that drills the wells. You've got landowners, and there could be anywhere from tens to hundreds of landowners in any particular unit. Those landowners may or may not have been leased. So you have the mineral owners that are benefiting by receiving royalties from the drilling of wells in that unit. You've got the people that have taken the leases and in some cases resold the leases that own non-operated working interests in that well. And so just with those minor examples, you've got multiple classes of people that participate and benefit in different ways from a development in a unit. And it's a very rare situation these days, especially where an operator owns 100% working interest in wells that are drilled within a particular unit. So the way we think about it, oil and gas was fractionalized to start with. So to take one of those interests and then tokenize it is really very consistent with the way the oil and gas business is structured anyway, which is a business founded on joint ventures and partnerships among multiple interest holders. And that's why we think it's a perfect fit.
I'll also add, the United States is really the only place, in the world where individuals, churches, businesses actually own the mineral rights underneath the surface of the ground. In most of the world, the governments have kind of claimed those rights. And so it's impossible for individuals to participate in wells and earn royalties or be a non-op working interest owner in a project because it's all been nationalized. And so I think it's really exciting for people maybe not familiar with that fact, maybe in different countries or across the world, to understand this is a way for you to own minerals, producing properties, hard real estate that has oil and gas underneath it, which I think is pretty interesting.
I think it is. And just one of our challenges is just making them aware that that opportunity exists. And so one of the things we are doing on the platform is making these offerings available in an SEC compliant way to both U.S. citizens, but also to non-U.S. citizens who want to invest. So our offerings are made in compliance with what's called Reg D for domestic investors and Reg S for non-U.S. investors. So our intention is to accommodate both.